Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Johannes is here again with us, especially for this session. He's alone. Last time, I think it's already several months ago, he joined us with his wife, and some of you met him already. But I was able to get some new members who are dying to get to know you, Johannes. So please introduce yourself a little bit, and then we can start with the questions. Thank you so much for being here, by the way.
Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon in Brazil. Some of you know me already. I see Renato is here now as well. And Richard knows me from before, and Carlos and Atenzilo and Sean Cannell was at some stage at the meetings as well. Yeah, I come from Austria, not Australia. We have Mozart, no kangaroos here. So the center of Europe. I was in these meetings with my beautiful wife a few months ago, and I hope she will be joining you alone without me interfering within the next few weeks. She's busy keeping us boys, I have two sons and me in line. So this is me in short. Thank you, Simone, for inviting me again. I was surprised you did because I didn't count on it.
Of course. It was so much fun, and I'm sure this time is going to be fun as well. So you're very entertaining.
No, I'm just myself, you know. Bruce, nice to see you again. It's an honor to have you here. And yeah, shoot with the questions. In case of emergency and I don't know the answer, I will lie or ask my lawyer.
Okay, guys.
Can I start? Can I start?
Yes, please. We just start with raising our hands. So
okay,
because we have a full room, right? Okay.
Johannes or I don't know, Johannes in
I listen
Austria.
to everything.
Conto is Austrian last name or not? Conto.
Conto.
Yeah.
Konto.
Yeah, your last name. It's
Lorenz.
From Austria
Johannes
or
Lorenz. Conto is I don't know where this came from.
So,
it's like Lauren. An African name. It's like an African name, Conto.
Atensilo, I'm called Lorenz. I don't know who named me Conto. Maybe with my computer skills, I must have stuffed it up.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna put on mute.
Johannes, I don't know very well about Austria, but I know that Austria is the birthplace of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know.
Yes.
And also great classical musicians such as Beethoven and Strauss and Mozart. And tell us a little bit about the music in Austria. What kind of genre there is the most common in Austria? It's a classical music or there are different genres?
I'm getting old, so I had a conversation with my brother today about music, and he is on all of the new internet sites, that Spotify and everything like this. He's older than me, and comparing to him, I'm an old fart because I'm listening to the old songs from the 70s and 80s and 90s. He's right up there with the young people, but music is everywhere. In Vienna, the tourism is built up on it, and they play music from Strauss to Mozart to Beethoven and everybody else. So it's all the way from left to right and center. And not all musicians are good, let's say it like this, but they represent us. I think it was Joseph Haydn who said, listening to music is even more important than writing good music. So I agree with him. I don't know if this answers your question, but we have everything.
Yeah, but it answered because you are as nostalgic as me. I like from the 90s and 80s as well. International music, it's great. So yeah, you did answer me. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. shoot away. I won't give you my account number, so don't ask for it.
Okay, Aura.
I just wanted to ask, have you always lived in Austria? Like, were you born there, or did you recently move there? Like,
Long story. I was born and raised in the area where I'm now. I left Austria with 19 and went to the high sea. Was 20 years on ships, and I lived for that in a time period where I was on ships in Australia for 7 years in Adelaide. I came back to Austria in 2004. No, sorry, 2011. And I lived in Vienna until beginning of this year. And we moved back to the southeast of Austria, to Großpetersdorf, after 34 years of travel. And I'm very pleased that I did, because I live in a house and a garden now, and my children don't drive their neighbors crazy like they did in the apartment. Does this answer your question, Aura? Aura, did that answer your question?
yes, sorry. I know I'm young, but I was struggling to unmute myself. I don't know how it worked. Sorry about that one. Yes, it does.
Okay, Carlos.
Oh, hello again, guys. I know that Austria is the country of Red Bull. Okay. And I ask you, Johannes, do you prefer to talk about Red Bull or about the European community? Okay. Because Brazil, for instance, or United States, we have the states. Okay, states, the Federation Brazil or United States.
Okay.
And Austria is a member of European community. Do you like this, or do you feel independent, or do you prefer to be exit like UK? What do you think about this European community?
Okay.
Or about Red Bull? Do you use Red Bull to stay
No.
awake?
No, I drink coffee. Remember I promised you one when you came to
Okay.
Vienna. I still keep my promise when you come. Red Bull, I don't like too much, because originally is a drink that was not founded by Red Bull. Red Bull, or Mateschitz, who was the founder, is actually a marketing company. The drink itself was created in Thailand, and he bought it, and part of it belongs to the Thai owners. That's all I'm gonna waste on the Red Bull, because I don't like it, to be quite honest. The EU, when EU, there was an election, I was against it. That was many years ago. I changed my mind right after then, and I think that these days are not the days where a country as small as Austria should be alone or independent. We should be in a community. We are not part of the NATO. We are neutral, and I believe the EU gives us many advantages, plus disadvantages, as everybody has to pay their bills and everything. But the bottom line is, the changes I have seen in Austria the last 30 years, with help of the EU, outweigh everything that speaks for getting out. I don't know why the UK went out, and I don't know how they're doing up there. You will know much better than I do, but I believe it's good that we have countries working economically on the same goals, and I believe it's a good idea in the economy, in the world economy, to have another currency to be in the market, the euro, because for many decades it was the US dollar alone. It was the Swiss franc, and it was that was it. For the same way as it is good for Austria to have one current currency. Remember, we talked about it. We have a lot of tourism, and everybody who came into Austria had to exchange it. But we're a small country, so now we have one currency, and it makes life much easier. The same for trade. I was, or I am still working for a pharma company. Before, we had to quote all of the prices in German marks, in shillings, in Swiss francs, in dollars. and it was a nightmare. Now you say either, depending where you deliver it to, it's still there. The main currency is US dollar. Thank you, Richard. But I believe it's good that the EU sticks together like the US. Well, imagine the US would have 50 states or 51, please correct me, Bruce. And every country, every state would go different directions with different currencies and economic borders and stuff like this. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, we have 50 states and Washington, D.C. is a district.
Okay. Puerto Rico is
It's a Commonwealth,
Commonwealth. Okay.
along with American Samoa and Virgin Islands. We have other Commonwealths too.
Okay. Alaska, I think, is the 50th, was the last one that joined. Okay.
That was number 50.
Yeah,
I think it
remember.
was 50, either that or Hawaii. I don't remember which one was 50.
I think it was, correct me, I think it was Alaska.
Okay.
It was purchased, I believe.
Yeah, they bought it from Russia, and Russia regrets it.
Yeah. If you think about it, that's exactly what I mean. If you stick together, you're much stronger economically. And yeah, EU is the same thing. Everybody who lives in the EU will tell you the same. Simone, I'm sure you have the same experience, and Aura, you live in 2 countries that is in the EU, Portugal and Germany.
Yes, I agree. It's much easier.
Okay, Carlos. Sorry, it was so
Okay,
much about
Johannes.
Red Bull.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, there are positive and negative sides in this
Yeah.
EU.
Okay, Richard.
Yeah, Johannes, I know we know each other, but it was years ago. What impressed me when I joined the cruise life was the level of education, particularly from the Austrians. So I'm quite fascinated to find out about your upbringing and your childhood and how you managed all the way through to life now. I'd love to know about that.
I was stubborn. I was not very intelligent or something like this, and I was not. No, quite frankly, I had the regular school education here in Austria, and I wasn't a very good pupil at the beginning, but then when I tried hotel management school, suddenly something started working in here, and it took off. But quite frankly, I learned the majority from the University of Life, which I call experience. When you go out there and walk in the people's shoes for 7 miles and experience what life has then. And I don't know if you remember that before I became F&B manager, I had 13 positions. I was an assistant waiter, I was a waiter, I was a butler, I was a clearance officer, a phone operator, a receptionist, a shore excursion assistant, a shore excursion assistant manager, a manager.
On the ships?
Yeah,
On the ship.
Wow.
And then I was front office manager.
for
Store
12
manager.
years, Bruce.
Wow.
And this
We
is
call
actually
you we call you a lifer.
you get less for murder with a good lawyer. No, but and I learned in each position. This is the reason I was such a pain for people like you and Simone, because I was in the dining room and I knew how it was there. And I was in the bars and I was in provisions and I was in the kitchen. But the education level is high in Austria. Education is free in Austria. I gave an example. My older son just started what we call a gymnasium, which is a higher level. He had only great marks the first 4 years, and without any tests or something like this, it was recommended to us that we agree that he was moved on to a school that has better chances in university and so on and so forth. If you want to go there, it doesn't cost us anything extra. education all the way up to university, including university, is for free, except little fees. This is the reason why we have a lot of countries trying to send their children to us to study. Education could be better. I believe knowledge is power. I believe knowledge is the only thing that can save this planet. Education can save this planet, because ignorance and keeping people low educated, like unfortunately we have seen countries like this, is not good. But I'm glad we pay a lot of taxes in Austria, but at least you have medical and education for free, and you have to use it. This is the thing. That's the reason I said I was stubborn. I said I didn't come from a rich family who could afford university or something like this, but I said this is what I like, and I studied as much as I could. So education, I believe, is what we should pass on to our children and encourage them in young years to do it. I know they don't listen to us, but at least you can say when you get older, I told you so.
Did he answer you, Richard?
Yeah, thanks for that, Johannes. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, Vivian.
And a special issue. I have a son that he's autistic. And my question for everyone that live abroad in other countries than Brazil, I always make the question about what do you feel about inclusion in Austria and in the education for this kind of disability, people with disabilities. What do you think that is the quality for them in Austria?
I honestly, inclusion is not a big problem here, because you get educated from children on that you try to have people with disabilities in the same work, life, and education environment. So as long as they can be in one or the other way in the same classes, and sometimes we have classes where there's a regular teacher and an additional teacher for disabled children. So I don't know if you remember, there was a question last time when we talked about the immigrants that came from Syria or whatever, and I told you we didn't put them in camps, we put them in the middle of where people live. I don't know if you remember, we talked about this last time, and they lived all around the cities in all the in small groups. The same we do with disabled people. If they have special teachers, my cousin is a teacher for children that have speech problems, and she is retiring next year. She's working for the last 30, 40 years as a special teacher for disabled children. So we try to keep them in the society as much as possible. The same with older people. Older people, for European standards, I don't say now for standards like Central America or Brazil, remain very long with the families. And I have friends who have a disabled child. He's 1 year, he's 21 now. They're taking care of him, and 5 or 10 years ago, he couldn't be included in the school anymore. They have, from the government, paid a caretaker who is taking care of him while they're going to work and come back again. So it is very good regulated. We cannot compete with countries like Northern Europe, Norway, Sweden, Belgium, but the way we include them in the system is very good, I believe.
Okay,
Did he
thanks
answer
for
you,
sharing.
Vivian?
Yes.
Good. Okay, Renato, you ready?
Yeah. Hi, Johannes. Good afternoon for me, and good evening for you, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, How are you, Renato?
I'm going to make a yes/no question. It's normal to listen news about Brazil or South America in Austria.
I didn't understand the question, sorry.
Is it common? Is it normal? Or is it regular to receive or to listen to news about Brazil or South America in Austria?
Depending what channels you're watching. I mean, if you're Austrian and you don't travel abroad, you don't listen too much about it. You hear every time a bank gets robbed in the entire country and every time a heavy accident happens. It's a small country. So I'm very lucky about this. I personally travel a lot. I travel a lot in interesting areas. I watch different news all the way across the board, depending where I'm traveling, from BBC to Fox to Al Jazeera to, what I can get. And it depends usually which area am I going. If I go into the US, of course, I will watch CNN the weeks before. If I go to the Middle East, I will go a little bit more into Al Jazeera or something like this. Usually we hear when there's big things, elections, but this is only a 1-2 minute stint because it's some people in Austria wouldn't find Brazil on the map if they tried. So
But do you hear about
Okay, thank you.
Carnival, Johannes? Like when it's Carnival time, do you celebrate
Yes,
Carnival
of
in
course.
Austria as well?
Yes, we do see a little bit about Carnival. I get very soft and teary then because I don't know if I remember if I told you I was 3 times at the Carnival at the Sambadrom with the ship. And if you
Yes, I
think of
remember
Carnival,
that. But how about in Austria? Like in Belgium, we do celebrate Carnival at the same time as Brazil. It's completely different, but it's exactly the same moment. In Austria as well or not?
it's the same time, but it's not as big as in Rio or in Brazil. Let's say it like this.
Okay.
Austrians
All right.
Austrians are unfortunately not as relaxed and full of life like you Brazilians.
That's true. I don't see any hands, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask a question like, oh, Bruce, please.
So, Johannes, do they call it Fasching, the carnival? They call it Fasching in Austria?
Yes.
Because I remember when I lived in Germany, that's what they called it.
Yes. Where do you live in Germany?
In 4 different cities. I lived there for about 13 years.
Okay. Was any of these cities Cologne?
No, I lived in Aschaffenburg near Frankfurt, and I lived in
Okay.
Augsburg, Noyon, and Kaiserslautern.
Okay. Cologne, Köln, the Fasching is heavily celebrated, huge. You will remember the Bruce, they said what happens on Rosenmontag stays on Rosenmontag. That means people get really out of control.
Crazy.
Yeah, which you don't expect from Germans, but yes, they
I
do.
remember there was a German guy tried to take my wife to bed.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh,
Is he
yeah.
still alive?
Yeah. Because I didn't need him. She just
That
told me that
sounds like a
he
German.
said, "Oh, let's do it. Let's go." I said, "What?" Well, I didn't know anything about it until she told me, but I never met the guy, but it's still crazy. I said, "What?"
Okay, it's good that you didn't meet him because I'm sure he would have to eat out of a
Yeah,
straw.
we would have a little problem. We would have a little problem. And then I was going to ask you, are you active with winter sports?
No, but
You don't ski, ice skate?
I am the only Austrian who doesn't know how to properly ski. I think I must be written somewhere in the book of Olympic, how do you say this? Weltrekord. I learned it from my wife and my children 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with 51. So I was a 51-year-old Austrian sliding down the Principessa, Schneewittchen and the 7 dwarfs and something like this. And I didn't feel ashamed, but I can't warm up to winter sports. Mind you, I got so much bad jokes from colleagues on the ship
Do you drink
Did I-
beer?
Yeah, I say you go skiing, I wait at the bottom, or I go up with the lift and wait for you at the after après ski.
Wait
And-
inside the ski lodge, drinking some beer or coffee or something.
yeah, coffee or beer. I have the
Cool.
fun, I break the bones.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay, Richard's ready for another question.
Thanks, Johannes. Yeah, I want to touch on previous meetings we had with the Brazilians, and I know that hospitality or employment in Brazil, hospitality is a big thing. I want to touch on your training or hotel management training in Austria, because I know, coming from South Africa, it's actually quite an elite honor to go study in Austria hotel management.
I would say the top where you can go to study hotel management is Switzerland, Lucerne. That's what I would say. We have great hotel management schools. I believe you have great schools in South Africa as well. I visited friends in Joburg and in Cape Town, and I remember the colleagues from your part of the world were very well educated and hotel management schools. Austria has great hotel management schools. I was approached just recently by a teacher. They want me to teach
Oh,
in the hotel management school close here. They want me to do a lecture, and I didn't agree to it yet, but after 2 bottles of wine, I agreed to visit and we drink coffee. So, and then we see what comes out of it. I don't believe there's anything I can teach them except the stupid things.
I disagree with that, Johannes. From what I remember, you had a lot of experience in hospitality, lots. And I know as many of the young South Africans are on board, we fed off you. We fed off a lot of the Austrians and especially a good old Walter Simmel.
Walter Simmer, he is a person I learned a lot from as well. I lost track of him. I don't know where he is these days.
No, but thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
okay, so let me go ahead and ask a question before somebody gets ready. Like for me, as a mother and having young children as you, how do you think it is at the moment with English for young people? Do you think the Austrians, like the new generation, are they bilingual? And when like they go to university, like Richard was mentioning, if you get foreigners to study in Austria, would they be able to learn your secrets, like when it comes to education, but in English instead of German?
This is changing at the moment. I see it with my 2 kids. They play games like computer games, and they're picking up English
Quite
in a
fast,
way
right?
playing.
Mhm.
I would say when I went to school, we didn't have this. I learned English on the ship, quite frankly, to speak it. I learned the grammar and everything in school in Austria, but I wasn't able to have a conversation. This is changing a lot. Young people, especially in the cities and Vienna, Salzburg, Graz, and even in the countryside where I live now, pick up English more. You have much different ways of learning English. I don't know if you remember, we talked last time about it. When I learned English on the ship, the Top Gun, the first movie, I watched it 85 times, no
Yeah.
exaggeration, and I knew it. 40 years later, 30 years later, there's another Top Gun movie, and I understand it in English. I watch it now on Netflix in English because I watch movies in English so I don't forget, to be quite honest. If you come to Austria and you stay in Vienna, Graz or something, you will find your way around very well with English, very easy.
And then when it comes to studies, would you be able to go to school or university in Austria just in English, or you have to have German?
I believe you would have to have German a little bit. It's more fun as well, but I honestly don't know the answer to this question.
Okay.
Because when I did my education, everything was in German.
Mhm.
At that time, people still learned Hungarian and Croatian and Russian because we
Oh,
were
it depends on the border. Depends
on
on
the
the
border.
border. Oh, yeah. All right. No,
But if
that
you
that
come,
covers for me. That covers. Thank you. Carlos, are you ready for a question?
Oh, yes, yes. We know, Johannes, that Germany is the number one in the world for the green energy, green electricity. Okay. And what about Austria in this area? Is similar to Germany, for instance, the energy, how Austria produces the electricity from nuclear or
No.
from gas, from what generation, what kind of a generation, power generation?
this slide is made out of solar energy at the moment. Austria built
Mm,
a nuclear plant in the 70s and 80s, stupid Austrian way. And then there were so many demonstrations because they didn't ask the people before that they decided not to open the nuclear plant. So we have one, but it's now a museum. It's a ruin now. We produce here in the East, I would say in the county where I'm in, we are overproducing by 10% of the usage we have because we have the most wind and the most solar power. Of course, in winter, we have to buy the energy in, and we're buying it from the surrounding countries. The Germans are very far with natural resources. Norway, for me, is the country I believe is the farthest out of all the countries in Europe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the future. Germany is very far ahead. We're trying to catch up, but no. I know that Portugal has a lot of wind parks and they're building a lot now, and solar. Portugal is a perfect country because even in winter they have solar. They can have solar energy. I personally still heating here in my house, where we just moved to, with gas and with electricity. I have ordered or we're planning as solar panels on our roof. All our neighbors around us have, in order to at least cover an electrical car and the power we need as much as we can. Austria has a system. If you produce the power, you feed it into the system, and you get it afterwards in winter back. You don't ask me the difference, 2-3 cents per kilowatt. So it's not worth it to make your own battery power backup. So you feed it in the system when you have too much, and you buy it back for 1 cent a kilowatt, the difference in winter. So the government is supporting this. Also the green cars and so on and so forth. But we
okay,
are
Johannes.
Scandinavia is leading there, and they're doing very well. Northern Europe, we are not that far yet.
Okay. Do you another curiosity? In Brazil, the electric cars are mainly from China. Is it the same in Austria? Chinese electric cars or
No.
not?
No. At least I have a Chinese telephone. I recognize as a Chinese thing. The cars didn't make it here yet, but it's a matter of time. They will make it sooner or later here.
Okay. Thank you.
Vivian.
Okay, Vivian.
Hi. If I would travel for a week, during a week in Austria, what places do you recommend? And in what time? In the spring, in the summer? In addition, I forgot to ask about the city you live in Austria as well.
Okay. City, it's
Okay,
a small
Johannes,
town.
just give me a second. Adenilson, would you please share the map so that we can see where he lives? I believe was in the west coast, in the west part, huh?
It was
With,
the opposite way,
Hungary?
the
With
southeast,
Hungary?
southeast, close to Hungary and Slovenia.
Yeah. So that is west, right?
Is east. Go to Graz and a little bit to the right. You see a place here called somebody. Hold on a second, let me see. Stop a second. Adencilio, Stegersbach on top right. You see that? Top right. Stegersbach.
This one?
Stegersbach, perfect. And there, a little bit top right is Grosspetersdorf. Gross.
Is this your city?
That's my city.
Oh,
And don't call it a city. We have only 3,500 people living here, so we're not a city.
How
It's
many?
a small
Sorry,
place.
Johan. How many people?
3,500.
oh, really?
Wow.
It's a hamlet.
Minha mãe vai copiar também.
Maybe everyone knows everyone.
Not yet, but I'm getting there. I was
This
just
is
recently.
some tourist attractions in your
They have bears?
village. Bears, yeah.
No, not in the village. You see,
Oh,
there's not a
look.
lot.
A lot
Yeah.
of animals. Wow.
Usually they come out on Saturday night.
The square
local
in
pub.
front.
Yeah, it's a small town. I come from here because I was born and raised here. We have everything it needs. Good connection to Vienna, and it's green.
Oh,
it's
This
clean.
place is beautiful for
Yeah.
cycling.
How far from
Cycling,
Vienna?
drinking wine, hiking, relaxing. If you're close to burnout, come here. It's very quiet.
The bear again.
Yeah, the bear. I tried to shoot him. This is a arrow park where you can shoot with a arrow. Animals made out of rubber. Lucky Town is a little tourist attraction for the locals. Yeah, it's just on Monday, but every Monday it's
Water
chocolate
park?
block.
This is a water park? Or a
It's a
club?
small. I wouldn't call it a water park. It's this here left. This is a guest house. You see on top of the roof there's a chimney and a big bird. That's
Oh,
a stork.
a bird nest?
Yeah, the bird nest.
That's where the babies come from.
They are Austrian, but they go down to Africa in winter. It's not a lot. You see here, it
Oh,
is
Shell.
small.
You guys have a gas station?
Yes, believe it or not.
Wow. That's a big tourist place there.
We don't have too many tourists, to be quite frankly, because they don't get lost here. Soccer is the first religion here.
Like in Brazil.
If a country ever wants to invade Austria, they do it on a Sunday morning during a soccer game, because nobody will stop them.
How far is from Vienna? Let me check here.
142 kilometers.
Sorry?
Oh,
142
close.
kilometers.
Oh, it's nice.
And it's from if it's from Hungary, 10 kilometers.
110
No,
north.
110 to Vienna. And if you go, you see here the circle underneath Oberwart. You go to the right of somebody, there you see the border. We are close by to the Hungarian border and to the Slovenian border.
Here.
Yeah.
How about the Alps, the mountains, Alps?
You can see them from our place. When you look to the west,
Let me change here
all right. Zoom a bit out. Look at Vienna. Pull Vienna to the right a little bit. Zoom a little bit further out. This is Slovakia. Okay. Okay. You see Vienna on the left bottom.
Vienna.
Pull the card a little bit to the right. Okay. Zoom further away, please. I'm sorry, I'm not good in giving directions. That's the reason my wife hates when she drives.
The Alps
So
takes like more than half of the country. The Alps,
Yes.
most of the parts of the country, it's a lot of mountains.
The
Part
Alps
of the
cut into the country right through the middle of it.
Right in the middle of Europe.
Yeah, and if you take now the cursor, if you go from my place straight to the little tip on in the west, this is where it cuts through. It's like a chicken bone that is cut in half.
Which place? Johannes?
Yeah.
Oberwart
is the next biggest town. Let me see if I can. Give me 1 second. All right, Abencilio, can I show the map? Is this okay?
Let me stop sharing, then you can share from your screen.
Let me see if I can if I can make it with my.
Okay.
All right, you have to work me through this. Let me check. Help me here a little bit. How do I share the map?
I'm not that good with that. Bruce, do you know how to share the map or?
Well, does he have permission to share? Does he have, what is it called?
Oh, yes, you have to become a host.
Yeah, become a co-host first.
Okay.
And Anthony also needs to do that.
Let's see.
Let me check. All right, I have to admit it, I'm too old for this.
Anthony, can you make Johannes co-host? So find your map there.
Sorry,
Johannes.
Bruce, but it's not showing this information in Johannes to make him the host. Let me.
Well, if
I
you
don't
go
know
to
why.
participants, go to participants. On the right side, you'll see the names, and then you do a right click on the little 3 dots for his name. And you should see, oh, make co-host. I can do it here. I didn't know I could.
Oh,
Okay, now you're a co-host. And so now you can share your screen, Johannes.
All right, host tools. Wait a second. All right, let me see if you see the screen now, correct?
It's coming, I think, perhaps. Did you share it down
No,
at the
we don't
bottom
see
in
it
the
yet.
green tab?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not coming yet.
1 second.
Okay.
All right.
There it comes.
Okay. Sorry, Atensilio, it's easier for me than giving.
Oh, but now it's all in German. I can't understand it.
All right. Just to repeat, we are a little bit here in this area. The Alps, if you screw away from here, you see the Alps coming from Switzerland, France and Italy, and they're going straight through Austria like a cut chicken bone. So we are here to the west, all of this, all the way to Vienna is Alps. So if I want to go to the Alps, it's 45 kilometers from here. This is where the Alps start. We are here, and here we go skiing. It's 45 kilometers from here.
You said you didn't ski.
Glühwein drinking, beer.
Oh, okay.
Bruce. Work with me. So the Alps covering, I would say, 2/3 of the country. Here, where I'm from, is considered a soft mountainous area. So it's relatively flat. If you go to Innsbruck or Vorarlberg, this is where the huge mountains are. If you look, I show you Innsbruck. You have the mountains straight around the
Oh,
city.
beautiful. That is beautiful.
Mm.
You go hiking in the mountains.
Yeah, when we go on vacation, we go to the west, we go hiking and skiing.
You said you didn't ski. Okay, you drink beer. They ski, you drink beer.
Yes. If you look at Vorarlberg, let's say Bregenz, this is now all
Yeah.
the way to the east, to the west.
Ora, you have a question?
It was a question from a long time ago. I forgot to take down my hand. I'm
Oh.
sorry. It was like about the crime and stuff, but then we started speaking.
Well, what about crime? I don't think there's any crime in Austria.
There is the usual. The usual.
Oh, wow.
This is all the way to the west. It's very similar to where I'm from the east. It's the mountains in the distance, but flat or gentle hills.
I have a question about your commerce. What is your main industry there in Austria? Tourism?
It is still tourism.
Mm.
Don't ask me for the percentage now, because I wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to tell you the truth.
What would you say is number 2 or 3?
2, special metal works and industrial works, specialized on drill bits, for example, for oil platforms, cable, steel cutting, technology, little companies.
Similar to
Like-
Germany with all the engineering, huh?
Yeah, the Germans are organized.
And Austrians are not?
We are a little bit more relaxed about it. I know Simone will not like it when I say this, but we're a little bit more, we're not as organized.
I don't mind. You can say that. But it's beautiful, this part of Austria. I haven't been to the east yet, but I've been to Hungary and to Slovakia, so I think it's similar.
Yeah. So we're coming straight across Austria now again. And I show you the closest city. The bigger city is Graz,
Yeah.
which is 50 minutes from here.
What kind of work do you do, Johannes?
I'm in export. I'm working for a German pharmaceutical company that produces hand sanitizer
Oh,
and everything that you need in the hospital to make it out alive.
yeah. That you go to the hospital to get better. You get sick in the hospital. It's crazy.
Tell me about it. I've been in more hospitals the last 14 years than the entire village where I was born and raised together.
Vivian, do you have another question?
I think we can stop sharing the map now, so we can see the
All right.
participants.
No,
Thanks.
that's okay. Do we recommend travel during the winter and the sky the Alps?
No, unless you ski, which I don't. But I would suggest autumn. Autumn is a good time to travel, and I can't get out here now. I don't believe it.
Oh, you can take over, Adenilson, the sharing in the screen.
Okay,
There you go.
hallelujah.
I think that autumn is the opposite for the Brazilians. So it's starting
be our
from
spring.
September, October is
It's
what
a
he
change of the
means.
colors. Now we have it. I think you have it. Do you have a change of the colors? Brazil is big enough, you should.
Brazil, no, not like in
I-
Michigan.
Maybe in the south, really south, but
Maybe some
like,
of that area, yeah, with this
Yeah.
deciduous trees, the ones with the leaves on it rather than the pine needles. Yeah, so they probably have some changing of the colors. I know I have a guava tree in my yard, and all the leaves are falling, but it's just like going from green to brown. So if you wouldn't call that the changing of the colors, I don't know of a lot of trees in Brazil that have a lot of coloration, like in other places, like the maple tree in Canada has the reddish colored leaves when they change, when they die and fall to the ground. So I don't know. In Brazil, I don't see much of a color of the leaves are very decorative like in other places. So Johannes, I imagine in Austria it's similar to that, huh?
Yes, Indian summer you call it. I think in the lake area. Vivian, to make a long story short, I would suggest autumn or spring. Temperatures are between 15 to 25, and it's no snow, and it's very colorful because in winter everything dies and gets brown. In spring, when you have it's beautiful.
it's also cheaper, much cheaper to travel.
Yes, for example, this is spring.
Where's that in Curitiba,
Mhm.
Carlos?
Oh yes, IP, yellow
Oh, so that's
IP,
beautiful.
and the azalea. Azalea, I guess, is international. The red one, and the yellow
In
one is
English, we
the
say
IP.
azalea.
Azalea, yeah, it's international. But the yellow flowers is Brazilian.
What tree
And
is that?
this time, yeah, yellow flowers.
What tree is
It's
that?
beautiful.
IP.
Yeah. IP.
Ipe. Okay.
Yeah. And
Very
there is
nice.
the IP pink, and blue, I guess. Three types of flowers.
White, Carlos, white.
Oh yes,
Yeah, white, pink, and yellow.
yeah. Thank you. Okay,
And
Adelis.
they bloom in different seasons. Like when there is yellow, we cannot see pinky, or when there is pinky, we cannot see white. In my region now, it's a season of the white ones. Really beautiful.
Okay.
Hey, Adenilson, how do you know that? Oh, I forgot you're a biologist.
And I'm observer as well. I observe a lot, When I'm running, I observe all the time. I'm turning around and observe the nature.
Okay, guys. I think we just ran out of time.
No way.
Would you
We
like
need
it
to
to
go- we need to go
continue?
overtime.
You can
We need
continue.
to-
I don't know how busy Johannes is. I know he was not in his house yesterday. He just came back, so he must be very tired. So that's why I'm so thankful for
Yes,
you
thank you.
taking the time and being here with us. I knew from before how kind you are, how helpful, and how much available you were for us, especially like Richard was saying, we're very young and we didn't know much. You knew a lot and you're always ready for us. But I'm so surprised with your sense of humor. We had a blast. I don't know, I'm talking about just me, but I think everybody else, we had a blast. You're so funny. And I'm very, very glad that you took the time to be here with us tonight.
Yes.
So once again, thank you so much. And I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, because I have to apologize. I was supposed to come yesterday, and thank you, Simone, for changing me so quickly. And I gave her €50 to say all of this, so don't be. Thank you. I
Thank
hope
you, guys.
to see you soon again. Renato,
Okay.
Carlos,
Bye bye. See you. Nice to see you.
Richard.
Okay.
You
And
guys all have a
Johannes,
good
just
Bye-bye.
day.
before
Thank
finish,
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, you
Yeah,
guys.
Bruce,
Before
hang in there.
finish, I was after your last
you.
last video, I became very motivated to go to Austria. I almost
No.
went there. Yeah, but
I will put you guys in touch.
I have a chance. Yeah.
Bye bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Tanzila. Thank you
Bye.
very much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.